Hello, everyone. Here we are at week number 7 in Science 200. You've got an important week this week because you're starting on your final presentation, and these two next assignments are going to count for a lot of your points this term, so we will talk about that. All right. As a quick review of last week, you turned in your final paper, so you've done all the research on your topic. You've answered all the questions. You figured out what it all meant. You came to conclusions. So last week, in week 6, you finished the work on your paper. Now you're going to take what you learned during all that time and with all that writing, because you wrote about that from the first week on. We're going to turn that into a presentation. So we'll get to that in just a second. This week, work in your Sumo web text in Chapter 7. You're going to learn a bit more about scientific communication and why it is important and how you have to get down on your audience's level in order to communicate with them. And you also need to show them the reason why they should be interested in this. Why is this an important topic? That's tremendously important, because if you don't show that to your audience, they probably won't have any idea why they need to be interested in this. You're going to do this by looking at one more article on the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which gives you a tremendous number of statistics and lots of data on how many different animals were killed, how extensive the oil spill was, how much land it affected, etc. It was a very shocking ecological disaster when it happened, and we're still suffering the consequences of it. So be sure and read that. You'll also read about the importance of the peer review process in science, and it is terribly important. It's holding scientists accountable. That's what it is. And so it's a balance, from what you do as a researcher. You put it out there and you let everybody critique your work. This is pretty common with social media these days, so I think you understand how it works. Where in years past I would have to explain a lot more. But that is the peer review process, and anybody can make any type of comments they want to about your work. They can contact you. They can write into the journal where you have presented your work. They can raise questions if you're doing a presentation in front of a scientific group. They can question you if you're presenting a poster at a meeting. So there's lots of ways that peer review happens. So that's a really important part of science because it keeps everybody honest. And it's not just the honesty. It's not like scientists are going around being dishonest, but they may have a different viewpoint. They may have seen different results from you. And so you got to try to figure that out. Well, why did that happen exactly? It might be in the experimentation that you did. It might be you have actually found a new phenomenon that you didn't know about, nobody else knew about until then. All right. Then the major thing that you need to work on this week is your speaker's notes for your presentation. So in week 8, you are going to put together a PowerPoint presentation or something similar. There are Google Slides. There's Prezi if you want to use that. I don't know what else is out there. Canva. I think you can make slides on Canva. Most people use PowerPoint, and that's perfectly fine. So you're going to put together in week 8 a set of slides, 5 to 7 slides. These do not exactly follow the paper that you're turning in for week 6. So be aware of that, and I'm going to show you more on that in just a second. This is a more condensed type of presentation. But this week, in week 7, you're going to make your speaker's notes. So what the heck are speaker's notes? Speaker's notes are what you would say to your audience, what you would explain to your audience when you flash a slide up on a screen, right? So your slide is going to have some kind of visual impact, not a bunch of words. Nobody wants to see a whole pile of words on a slide. We can read if we're the audience. You don't need to read it to us. Have I had that done before? I cannot even count how many times. Oh my word. That is so boring and so disrespectful to your audience. Your audience can read. So you're going to have some kind of visual impact, right? To emote something from your audience, to get their attention, to introduce the topic to them. So, bam, right in their face. They're hit with the topic and they can see something exciting, something interesting, and this piques their interest. And now you need to start talking about it. Okay, that's your speaker's notes. Now, on a PowerPoint slide and also on Google Slides, there's a portion at the bottom of the presenter slides that the audience cannot see, but you can see. And this is where you would put your speaker's notes. Now, for this week, week 7, you're just going to make a Word document of your speaker's notes. And you're going to explain what you would say for each one of your 5 to 7 slides. Not 20 slides, not 50 slides, not 2 slides, 5 to 7. Okay, so let's get to these speaker's notes. So here, wait a minute, let me move my face. Oh my word. There you go. This is your rubric for this week 7 assignment, and here are the sections, okay? So just think of it this way. You're probably going to have some kind of introductory slide, right? GMOs. Ocean acidification. Give a beautiful picture of a crystal clear ocean, something like that. I don't know, whatever. So you're going to have an introductory slide, and then you get into your topic, right? The first topic will be your scientific background. What is your topic? If you say ocean acidification, then you got to explain what it is. It's a lowering of the pH by the diffusion of excessive carbon dioxide into the water. If you're talking about electric vehicles, you should explain how they are powered. Some people are not going to know how they're powered. So explain that to them. If it's climate change, then what the heck is, what do you mean? What's changing? Okay, I see the weather outside. Climate is not weather. You can explain that. So give an overview of your topic and your basic question. All right, and explain it, describe it to your audience. Don't just go, GMO is a genetically modified organism. Okay, which genes? Why do you modify these organisms genetically? What's the whole point of this? So, scientific background. You start with that. And then audience section. Here you see audiences next. And this is where you're going to explain how your particular topic impacts your audience, why it's important to them, what's the relevance of it, why they should be concerned about this. That's your audience. Empirical evidence. What did you find with your sources? Explain specifically what you found from your sources, the information that you found from your sources. Now, if you explain to me that GMOs hurt human health by giving you cancer and cardiac disease and diabetes, I'm going to say, nope, there's not a single article out there that says that. So you have to give us and tell us exactly what your sources said. If you want to use more than 3 sources, I say go for it. You use as many as you want to with me. But explain your empirical evidence, what you found out there in the world. Personally, why does this topic personally affect you? Why did you choose it? You were the one who chose the topic. So, if it were me, I would be picking something about the ocean or biodiversity conservation. Oh, goodness. Anyway, I could pick lots of them. So why is this issue important to you? Is it because of your hobbies? Do you like to hike outside, camp, whatever? Do you have to drive every day to work and you can see all the smog in the air and you don't like the air pollution, and so you think we ought to switch over to EVs. Why is this issue important to you? Investigation. How does this investigation that you've done impact your thinking about this topic? Did you change your mind? Did you learn anything? What did you learn? Hopefully you learned something. So what did you learn about this? And your message, so that's not a slide, right? That's just, are you effectively communicating with your audience? And then, you know, your grammar, your syntax, all that kind of stuff. Clear communication. So those last two things are not slides. They're just general overall considerations on my part. All right, so you organize your speaker's notes this way too. You're going to have a slide on the scientific background. So you're going to have speaker's notes for this section. You're going to have a speaker's notes on the audience section. Now, let me show you where you're going to put your speaker's notes the next week, week 8, after you get this produced as a Word document. So I've got an example right here of ocean acidification. Okay, bam, there's the topic title right there. So your audience doesn't have to guess, right? Wait a minute, I'm going to move my face over again. There you go. And I have a really nice picture of a fish. I like that picture of that fish. And maybe here are your talking points. Now, I said don't put a whole bunch of words on the slide, and I meant that. You can put bullet points, though, and I always do, because then that reminds me what I'm supposed to be talking about, right? What is ocean acidification? All right, now notice down here. If you slide that bar right there, I can't do that on this picture, but if you slide that bar right there up, your slide shrinks down, and then you see this section here. Click to add notes, and that's where you're going to add notes for example, your scientific background. Your audience cannot see that. They only see the slide that you have right there. But you can see those notes, and they will help you as you're making the presentation. All right, so that's where the speaker's notes go, and that's for next week. But just so you know, there is a spot for them. All right, with that being said, I need to remind you that the end of the course is Sunday before midnight on August the 25th, and everything has to be turned in by then. If you email me on Monday and say, here is something that I need for you to put into the course, nope, I can't do that anyway. No, the deadline is Sunday, August the 25th. If you're seeing that maybe you need to ask for an incomplete, I will tell you the guidelines for that. So I have to fill out information about it, and the most important question on the survey that I have to fill out is, has this student successfully completed at least 70% of the course? So if you haven't done that, if you only worked in week 1 and then haven't done anything since then, I'm going to check no, and they're not going to approve an incomplete. So, and I also have to give the reason that you're requesting an incomplete. An incomplete only gives you an additional month to turn in work. It's not like it goes on and on and on forever. Just 1 month of extra time that we can ask for. That's the maximum. We can just ask for a few days. But anyway, maximum is 1 month. And I have to get approval for that. So I send that in to the registrar, and then we get an answer back whether you can take an incomplete or not. But hopefully you won't need that. Hopefully you're going to finish everything on time and turn in everything on time. Be aware this week and next week of the point values for these assignments, because they are big. These are the 2 biggest assignments out of the whole term. So do look at those point values to show you how important these assignments are. All right. If you need anything this week, please, please, please let me know. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I'm here for you. I'll be glad to help you with anything. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Have a wonderful week.